I see your expectant faces. Yeah. It is my privilege and pleasure to welcome you all here this afternoon. I looked at my badge of office earlier today when I got it out, and I got it in 2011. And it is a great privilege, and I don't mind admitting it. And I've had a lot of fun doing it. Whether I'll be wearing it at the end of the day is entirely up to you, but there we are. But anyway, a very warm welcome to you all, and we'll get on with the day's business. So back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Andrew. So from me to you, thank you very much indeed for coming up to this part of the world. It's a bit strange for me. The air's a bit thin, as I always say. And there was a little bit of water on the road yesterday, but I managed to get the deck chair out and fall asleep twice. Not. But thank you very much indeed to the Grocott Heritage Centre for hosting us. I think what a lovely venue, and they've been very kind. So thank you very much indeed. I am personally, and I'm sure we all are, most welcome. We've got some members that will be joining us in the room electronically, and it's a pleasure to bring the AGM to Shrewsbury, following last year's event, which was down in Portsmouth. So we are trying to move around the country, so it keeps everything moving. Could I ask you please to be upstanding for a second, just to remember members and friends who are no longer with us? A moment's silence. Thank you. So we move to the agenda. Item 1 is, do we have any apologies, Mr. Secretary? Super, thank you. And I hope that all of you have signed your name into the book so we can register your attendance. So move on to item 2, which is to approve the minutes of the last annual general meeting, and they were included in the summer edition of Steaming, and I'm sure you've all read them and can commit them to memory. But are you all happy with the content or the accuracy of the minutes? And if you are there any matters arising from those minutes? Then are you happy that I sign them as a fair record of the last annual general meeting? Thank you. Lovely. Thank you. We're doing well. So the next one is the chairman's report, which is a thrilling document, as you all know. As your chair, I'm pleased to confirm that the aims and objectives of our trust remain unchanged over the past year, and they are to encourage, promote the interest in the preservation of the historical steam-powered road vehicles, fairground and agricultural equipment, and to promote the safe operation, maintenance, repair and exhibition of such equipment by organising training programmes, publication of books and codes of practice, and by supporting skills development programmes for youngsters and adults. So that remains unchanged for keeping steam on the road. And talking of which, the 25 season was a year of celebration, and I think we all realised that the very first steam rally was celebrated its 75th anniversary in Appleford, and I'll talk a little bit about that in the future. But the movement's been going for quite a long time, and it's imperative we do continue to keep our vehicles available and to be driven on the roads, because after all, we were there before the cars were, weren't we? So we've got a right. There seems to be a reasonable optimism throughout the movement. Rallies seem to be getting lots of people coming in. There seems to be a continued interest in what we're doing. Kids love it, adults come up, and I'm sure you as engine owners and people around have had and faced and answered lots of questions that remain quite similar, but at least it shows that the people that come to our rallies really do have an interest, and it's quite humbling to watch and appreciate just how valued our movement is within society. And it's good to remember that actually the first powered steam vehicle coming from Cornwall was powered by, made by Richard Trevithick. So that was a long while ago. And all of our vehicles do continue to come from that first vehicle, which was driven up Camborne Hill, as they say, down my way. Coal seems to have eased a bit in price, and although we have issues regarding the quality of it, we have got man-made fuels, which are ever increasing in their quality, and it is something that we really do need to keep our eyes on, because coal that we have at the moment can be pretty smoky stuff, and I think we've all got a duty of care as engine owners and rally organisers to try and minimise the smoke that's emitted from our chimneys. And gone are the days when it was good to chuck some tyres into the firebox and blast up the hill with black plumes of smoke coming out. The world has moved on, and health and safety and Joe Public no longer sees that as being fun. So I think, if you would allow me, my message to us as engine owners and the National Traction Engine Trust is we have a duty of care to ensure, wherever possible, that the quality of coal and the way in which it's fired is done to minimise the effect, because heaven forbid if some over enthusiastic person from a council were to get too involved, and that would be no good for anybody. I think that's really what I have to say about that for the moment. The financial year of 24-25, Amy has kept an excellent set of books, as you would expect. She drives us all with a rod of steel and looks after the last 2p. And thank you very much indeed for that, Amy. Your work is phenomenal. And Amy, we're giving us a report for the numbers later in the meeting, but the section leaders report has already been written down, so that's pretty straightforward. As a trust, we continue to think about communication and regulation. One of the big investments that we've made and will continue to make is in a new website, and not just a website, but a whole change in the way that we communicate with our members, both in the road steam movement, the wider steam movement, and across the public. And we are committed to being better at communicating. We've been quite quiet lately, and we need to get much better at it. It's a very big job putting a website together, and Amy will be talking about some of the costs that we've picked up. We're looking forward to a really deep member section where we can post things online, and we can have electronic versions of magazines, member sections where engines can be publicised. So in general, just we're getting better at our job, and that will lead on to a coordinated publicity campaign, not just within road steam, railway steam, and the general public, but the wider people in the country. And there are a lot of people that are still very interested in what we do, and we aim to try and grab them in and bring them into the membership and to grow the movement. And I'm really looking forward to that. It's quite a big task, but we've invested and we'll continue to invest in doing so. One of the communication platforms that we use is steaming. And if I could just pay a personal tribute to our editor, Paul Ritchie, and his team, I hope that you'll agree with me that the magazine now is as good as it's ever been. And the work that Paul does in collaboration with members who produce articles and information really is top quality. And I'm sure if he were here, he'd be pointing to me saying, it doesn't matter I don't need Shakespeare to get to an article. If you've got a photograph, just some interesting facts, make contact with Paul, and it's amazing. He can put together articles. So just when you're cleaning out, putting something together, making something in the workshop, driving an engine somewhere, all of these little bits of information can turn into a really cohesive report and article within steaming. So please he really needs your help. Otherwise, it'll go down in quality, and we don't want that to happen. So it can be in Biro, it can be in Microsoft, it doesn't matter, just let him have it. We can render it into English. I think another focus that we need to continue, apart from the one that I've talked about, coal and fuels for our engine, is if we haven't got boiler inspectors, the engines can't leave the sheds. And we are facing an ever reducing number of inspectors within the country. And it's something that the Trust is very committed to, and we need to understand how we can encourage younger people to get trained and qualified and to be able to inspect our engines. So if any of you know of younger people, aspiring engineers that perhaps would like to take up the cause, then there are people within the room here who would be able to direct them into the right place. So just a thought that we need to consider. We talked about regulation, and it's dangerous to pull out specific members of the team that have helped in dealing with regulation, but Charlotte is here and has done a huge amount of work in managing our policies and regulations. And she's dealing currently with Martin's Law, has looked at the rally support scheme. So, Ma'am, from me, thank you. And that's in cohesion with the TSU. Tony and his crew have, worked quietly behind the scenes. Every month they're getting together and just driving forward to make sure that the Trust is managed in the best fashion that we can deliver. I'm nearly at the end, don't worry. We've got some votes to talk about in a minute. So there'll be people joining the Trust and leaving and seeking re-election. One area that really does need a highlight is the Steam Apprentice Club. Where's Paul? There he is over there. And his helper, Louise and Gavin. I don't think you guys understand the commitment that these people make in getting to rallies wherever they are, setting up the tents and just looking after the young people and getting them into steam. And it's a real commitment. And thank you both and all of your team. It's really appreciated. Without that, we don't have successional planning. And the number of steam apprentices that have joined us this year is a clear indication, not only of young people's interests, but also the commitment that these guys put to it. And I mentioned it in my report, there's something, it makes me smile when you see a youngster that's permanently doing this, and then they're sat on an engine or being taught, and the phone's nowhere near it. They're getting a bit mucky and they're having fun and they're learning. So it's a valuable commitment that we're making to the younger people of our country, let alone helping to bring in tomorrow's engine owners, because without the youngsters coming forward, there's nobody to buy and look after our engines. 75 years Appleford's been going, and that was the first rally. And I was so pleased to be able to go up and to allocate £10,000, which we invested with the Appleford Rally to help to make sure that this event was held in such a splendid fashion. But to me, the most exciting thing of all was seeing Reg in a white jacket. I had him down as in a high vis jacket, but no, inspired to have white jackets. And I hope you don't mind, Reg, but I've pitched that for some other dudes. The Trust continues to meet. We used to meet on 4 times a year and drive across the country. We Zoom, and we will be meeting in January. So whilst you're out having fun and playing with your engines, once a month we get together via Zoom and people give up their time just to continue to manage and deliver the Trust in the way that it is formatted now. So to all of my fellow trustees and colleagues, thank you, because I know you give up a lot of your time. I'm very grateful. Finally, we are always very short of people to join and help in the Trust. So if you sat in the 3rd or the 4th row or the 1st and you're thinking maybe I could got a little bit of time, please, if you've got a skill any time at all, we would welcome your help and support. And we're quite a friendly bunch, and the chairman's leaving next year, so you won't have to worry with him either. That's really all I have to say about my report, and I hope that's a reasonable state of play where we are today. I'm halfway through, it's all right, and that's the worst bit done. So we move on to item 5, which is the section leaders reports. So we now publish these in steaming, so there won't be any reports. But if any member would like to ask any of the section leaders any questions relating to their reports, now's the time. Speak now or forever hold your peace. You're off the hook, guys. Well done. Nick, I think you've got some slides of STEAM Apprentice Club. Paul, did you want to talk us through that? I think that'd be really great if you could. Thank you.
So despite saying we're not going to have a section report, here's a section report from the STEAM Apprentice Club. I just want to start by saying thank you to all of our volunteers, Jim for editing Raising Steam, the rest of the crew, a really small group of people. So Louise, Ollie, Gareth, Nick, Becky, Ian, Lisa just recently joined us with social media, Stuart organising driving days. These are people that are out there kind of every weekend really giving up their time, far more than me, frankly. So thank you to all of them for kind of getting us out there and visible. In terms of the last year then, let's just take a quick look back. We spent some time getting our basics right. So we've made sure we've got our safeguarding training up to date. Not the most sexy topic, but really, really important to keep kids safe. We've been out there with things like the STEAM Apprentice Club contract to say, actually, parents, you need to look after your children too, whilst we're teaching and an engine crew and owners are teaching them on the engines. We've been saying things like, please bring their lunch, please don't leave them for hours, please don't think this is a babysitting service, because we want all of you to be putting the time in to actually get kids on there and not to be put off by the fact that you might have children just foisted on you for the rest of the day, despite the fact I'm sure you're all really happy to do that. We also covered off the law in terms of STEAM apprentices and the law, and actually what does it look like from a Road Traffic Act perspective. So thanks to Charlotte and Tony for all of the help with that. And actually, I think people have found that quite helpful to give them a steer, and there's leaflets available and it's published on the website if anyone's looking for that. We spent a lot of time this year trying to focus on our branding. So we've put quite a lot of effort into social media. So this time last year, for those of you that are kind of Facebook people, I think we were seeing something like 8,000 hits every 28 days or something of people looking at Facebook posts from us. Today, that's over 500,000 every 28 days. So we've done pretty well in a year. We really are out there kind of establishing the brand. You will see us with STEAM Apprentice Club t-shirts on. I'm probably being remiss by not wearing mine today, but to make our volunteers visible, it shows as well. And we've also rebranded with things like gazebos and stuff. So when we are at a show, it's really easy to find us, both for the kids and also for you guys in terms of bringing your engines along and knowing where to stop and putting your magnets on your engine. All of this is really, really important to helping kind of say, actually, we're a really accessible hobby and we do welcome all of those new members. The last year then we've hit 12 different rallies. Well done, Nick. So we were pretty busy, some of those kind of three-day events. Once we're there, they're generally very full on, and kids will arrive from 8 o'clock in the morning and they'll still be there at 5 o'clock with the club stand. So again, thanks to the volunteers. Driving days, we've run 7 this year. Unfortunately, we've had a few that haven't been able to run this year. I'm hoping those organisations, those groups of people will be able to run them again next year and kind of get back into the swing of things. But we really are keen for others to take up the lead on that as well and to organise some for yourselves. So I'll say a bit more about that in a minute. In terms of impacts then, last year we were just over 200 members. This year we're over 400. We've doubled in a year. We really haven't got enough capacity to meet demand. We've got kids that are looking for regular apprentice slots. I know I get an email at least every 3 weeks from one of our apprentices that's looking for a drive in Cornwall and hasn't been able to get kind of regular crewing spot. And he emails me saying, I'm up for cleaning, I'm up for oiling, I'm up for doing whatever. I just want to get onto an engine regularly. So if there are any Cornish engine owners out there that want to take on an apprentice, let me know. I'll put you in touch. But there are plenty more examples like that where kids are looking for those opportunities. So if you've got them, tell me. I can try and make them available, try and publish them. Equally, driving days, we got to August and we realised that we had something like 30 kids that didn't have driving day places that had all expressed interest and wanted to be on a driving day, but we just couldn't meet the demand. We managed, so I ended up hosting an additional driving day to take up that slack effectively, but we've already got additional members after that coming through saying, hey, we just joined, we'd like to get on a driving day, how do we do this? I urge all of you to think about, actually, can you get your engine to a driving day next year and increase the capacity, or will one of you take the lead and say, let's organise one? We've written a bit of a pack that helps people to navigate driving days. We've made it as easy as possible for you. There are signs in there, there are templates, there's agendas for the day, there's risk assessments, everything you need effectively to be able to pick it up and run a driving day with a kind of cookie cutter template. We'll give you all of the support we can around it, but we can't be everywhere all of the time. So there's a few times this in the coming year where we're expecting to see kind of multiple events asking us to be there, and we just won't be able to cover those. So in terms of volunteers, we've grown our volunteer base by 1 or 2, but we're really struggling. We need more capacity. So if anyone's up for volunteering, please get into that. So for 26 then, yes, we want to grow our volunteer base more. We've got some other ideas to try and be creative about how we do that, both linking parents in and also some of our older apprentices. So we'll be working on that over the winter. We're also looking at the logbook refresh. We've published, or we're about to publish, a new logbook. The old one was pretty tired. So expect for any STEAM apprentice members in the room, your new logbook will be on the website from December, and we should be trialling a members area on the STEAM Apprentice Club website in the next couple of weeks as well. So I'm just about to get test licenses out for people. So that'll mean every apprentice can get onto a members area where they're safe, they've got their own content, and they can access the logbook as well. For next year, in terms of rallies, I think we are going to have to prioritise attending those rallies that are hosting driving days. So we kind of partner with them rather than just trying to cover the smattering of rallies we've been at this year. Hopefully that will encourage the rally organisers to say, let's host a driving day and provide more of those opportunities. Kids get an awful lot more depth of experience at a driving day than they ever will on a rally field, and it's a lot safer. So the more of that we can do, I'm really keen to see. And finally, off of STEAM Apprentice Club kind of news, I just want to mention with Appleford, I know the Heroes of STEAM banner we put up where people were able to kind of remember those that are no longer with us went down really well. Loads and loads of names went on there. That is being loaded onto the NTET website, and there will be a facility for you to email and kind of register names as well of any members that are no longer with us that you want to kind of remain in memory and be able to put bios and stuff up there too. So bear that in mind, keep an eye out for it on the NTE website. I think that's it for me. Thank you very much, everyone. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Paul, and I hope that gives you an insight into what doubling membership requires. What a huge amount of input for and on behalf. Thank you. Thank you all. Okay, so if there's no questions relating to the section leaders' reports, I'm going to move on and ask Amy to report on the accounts for the up to the 31st of March of this year.
Thanks, Rob. Okay, so I can now confirm that the accounts that you have in the booklet, so the AGM booklet that was given as you came in and went out in steaming, so those are the accounts to the 31st of March 2025, and they have now been audited and ready for filing. So once they get, or hopefully once they get approved today, then we will go ahead and file those. Just a couple of highlights over the last 12 months, or the 12 months to March 25. The things that have really been key on that I've been working on is active cash management. So I mentioned this time last year when I stood here that we've got a lot of cash and reserves that we're not actually using at the moment. So we've put them into long-term bonds. So some into a month bonds, some into 3 months, some into 12 months, which has meant quite a big high interest account. So we've more income for us. The John Fowler Archive project we talked about last year, that's started. So we've had initial payments coming through in the year, and that project's now ongoing. Other than that, it's pretty much been business as usual this year. So if I turn to the accounts for the 31st of March 25, which you've got in your, as I mentioned, in the AGM booklet. So if you go to the back page, the back 2 pages are the income and expenditure account. So our income for the year, our profit for the year is actually a loss for £7,000 for March 25. However, that included £19,000, which was the John Fowler Archive project payment that I mentioned just now. So that came out of a restricted fund because it came from a donation from the Shirley Capel estate last year. So when you take that expense out, the actual underlying profit was £12,000. 2,000 of that was costs from that year were expense from designated funds. So that just means profits that have historically been put aside for different items, for example, education. £7,500 of that profit was then transferred to designated funds for future year expenditure. So mainly in the 75th anniversary fund. So our residual profit when you take those out is just under £6,000. Our income for the year was 83,000, which is very consistent with the previous year. Our direct costs 43,000, which was about £11,000 lower than 2024. And the reason for the main reasons for it being lower was sales related expenses, so stock purchases and the exhibition travelling expenses, which Kathy's managed to control very well this year. The direct costs are comprised of 12,000 cost of sales and 31,000 which related to steaming, conferences and training. So our gross profit then ended up at 40,000, which was an increase of about £29,000 since 2024, which is related to those decreases in stock. Our operating profit was then £69,000, which is a £27,000 increase to 2024, partly because of those expenses that I've just mentioned, but also we've got the professional fees you'll see is £19,000, which is those John Fowler archive costs coming through. In addition, the marketing costs that Rob mentioned, so that was £8,000 that we spent in the year to 2025. Those marketing costs are ongoing and you'll see them coming through in the current year as well as we do more in terms of the website and the marketing. Our other income in the year was £22,000, which was very different to the 2024 year. Main difference is because we had that large donation coming through. There was £130,000 the previous year, which came from the Shirley Capel estate. That didn't happen obviously in this year. So the other underlying income actually increased mainly due to the interest that I mentioned in those high interest accounts of about 7,000, which is offset by a reduction in gift aid. I haven't got to the bottom of what that reduction is yet in the gift aid, so I'm going to look into that a bit more. I think we've gone from very different data. So David Smith used to provide me the data. I'm now getting it myself from the membership system, and I don't know what that difference in the underlying data. So that's something I'm going to investigate over the next few months. I think we have had a slight reduction in subscriptions, so there will be a kind of reduction coming through in that gift aid anyway. And we've got that kind of first year boost where everyone signed up to gift aid. And I think as we go forward, people are not kind of, as we don't remind them every time, they're not as kind of good at saying yes. So if you're doing your subscriptions and you can claim gift aid, which basically means you pay enough tax to cover the cost of your subscription, then please do tick the yes box. Out of that profit, we transferred £1,000 to the Steam Apprentice Borough Fund because we know there's some costs coming through for Lady Sylvia this year in terms of engineering costs and boiler tests, and £7,500 into the 75th Anniversary Fund, which was funding then the Appleford cost in the current year. So if you now turn forward a page onto the balance sheet, which is on page 18, our balance sheet is setting out, the top half is setting out our assets, which in our case mostly refers to trophies and a few fixed assets like computer equipment and gazebos. Our sales stock and debtors, which is usually mostly prepayments, where we've paid for things in advance. And then cash, which you can see on here, is still quite high. And then our creditors includes payments which were received in advance for the driving day, because the timing of the driving day is that it's in May. So we do get payments that come through into the current year. Outstanding supplier creditors that hadn't been paid by the year end, and accruals of costs that we knew about. So that leaves us with a general fund of £89,000. So that's money that hasn't been allocated to any specific costs in the future years. Designated funds of 131,000, which are funds that have been specifically designated for future costs in different areas. Now, those funds are not restricted, so it could be that funds are transferred into other or repurposed. It's not that they have to be spent in that area. And then restricted funds of 146,500, which is the trophies and the balance of the Shirley Capel donation. Copies of the accounts are available on request if anyone would like a copy of those. And then in our upcoming year, we have had a change regarding the accountants and independent examiners. So for a very long time, we've worked with Charles Lovell, and they've done a really good job on that. The reason we're changing is I've always done the accounts and the tax return myself. There's new legislation that are coming in from the next financial year end, which means that we need to use commercial software to be able to file the accounts and tax returns. So we need to outsource this element of the job. So I've taken it as an opportunity to actually go out to the market. We've got 3 proposals from 3 different firms, and partly the reason to go out to the market is actually independence, given that we've been with Charles Lovell for a very long time. So the firm we chose was Albert Goodman, and they are a local or a regional, Southwest regional firm that I know quite well through my work. They have charity sector expertise, and I had a long conversation with the partners there, and I'm very impressed with their knowledge. Having said that, I would like to express my thanks, and from the NTT committee, to Charles Lovell, who have given us a really good service over a very long time. I tried to find out how many years, but I couldn't. It's going back way before I was involved. So then turning to the upcoming year, so the 6 months to the end of September, we are showing a loss of 22,000 in the management accounts. However, within that loss, there's another 18,500 that has gone on the John Fowler project. So taking that out, there's also been a £10,000 donation to Appleford, as Rob mentioned. So having taken both of those out, because they're both coming out of designated or restricted funds, our underlying profit is around 7,000 to date. We still have very significant cash reserves, even if you exclude that 130,000 that can't be used on anything else. We still have around 160,000 in the bank currently. So there's an ongoing discussion at the committee level as to what we use that cash for, and we are completely open to ideas. I know Paul's just mentioned lots of things for the Steam Apprentice Club. Very focused on education. There's obviously going to be a lot coming up on coal still, and what happens on the environmental side, but we would encourage any suggestions from the members if anyone has anything that they think we should be looking at as a project. We also have the marketing and website costs, which are ongoing in the current year. But I think the next slide just sets out our charity aims. We need to make sure that any expenditure that we do have, and we do put projects forward for, meets our charitable aims. But other than that, I would welcome any suggestions from anyone if they have anything that they would think would be of interest to the club. And with that, I think that's me done. So I'm happy to take questions. Otherwise, I will be proposing the accounts. I'm happy to take questions first. Stunned silence. I'm happy with that too. Are you checking Nick's awake? Good, I'll move. Thank you.
Aren't we lucky to have a clever lady that looks after your dosh? Thank you, Amy. And the same for Keith. Okay, so we move on to item 7, which Amy's mentioned before, and there's been some balloting going on. So I can tell you that Albert Goodman have been appointed as our auditors. And item 8 is to elect or re-elect general council members in accordance with Article 19. So we have presidential elections. So Andrew is seeking re-election as president. Colin Hatch and Paul Davis seek election as vice presidents. And they have all 3 of them. Andrew, you can stand again. You're all right, mate. You can keep that gong. The following officers retire by rotation, which is Jim Huntley, Amy Reynolds, and Dee Sill, Bob Siddle, and all have stood for re-election and have been re-elected. So that's good. And we've got some following nominations to the General Council. They've been received from Charlie Cools, and that's proposed by Bob Siddle and seconded by Nick Bosworth. We've got Paul Davis, who is proposed by me and seconded by Andrew, and Richard Hurley, who is proposed by me, seconded by Andrew Sample. And all those folks have been elected onto the General Council, so that's great. And I'm really pleased. Thank you. So now we come to item 9, which is any other competent business. So now is your time for any other business if you would like to raise any questions or points before we move to the prize giving. Tony's got a microphone there, so don't be backward in coming forward if you'd like to speak. Gosh, okay, well, I'll be going for a record then. How long have we been going? Not too bad. Okay, well, in that case, if we all have finished, nothing more to say, I will declare the annual general meeting closed. Thank you very much indeed. We'll have a very short break and then we will move on to the presentation of cups. What have I forgotten? Oh, gosh, yes. Yeah. So, yeah, thank you.
Right, just tomorrow, would like to welcome you all to the Sentinel Works. As some of you may know, us as a family company took over the works about 6 or 7 years ago, but we've actually taken full control of it in the last sort of 12, 18 months and now made it into our national worldwide distribution centre, as it's very grandly called. But tomorrow we'd like to welcome you all there. We've got a good selection of local engines putting in an appearance there tomorrow. Hopefully the sun will shine, so we will rally inside if it's raining, but we will rally outside if it won't. But there's plenty of room there. You're welcome to come and have a look round what we've done to the works. The works was pretty tired, to be fair, when we took it back over from Radius Aerospace. But now we're repurposing it, in some of it for our own business, and as you'll see, various other businesses are moving in, so it is having a bit of a rebirth. So we'd like to welcome you there, sort of starting from sort of 10 o'clock onwards, but feel free. If you're staying overnight, just come. It's not too far from the hotel, probably about 5-10 minutes drive. But as you come in, it's next door to Morrison's supermarket. As you'll turn right in front of the works, coming in, there's a little mini island, turn right again, and the car parking will be just on the left-hand side, and just before you get to the barriers. So look forward to welcoming you all, and we'll see what we can do, make some smoke. Well, not too much smoke tomorrow. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, and thank you once again to the Grocott Heritage Centre and in anticipation of a really interesting meeting and visit tomorrow. So thank you very much indeed. Okay, so.
Good afternoon all. I'm going to do the presentations of the awards this year. So the first cup that we will present this afternoon, is the Arthur Napper Cup, presented by Arthur Napper originally for engine at the Appleford Rally. When Appleford rallies ended, Arthur agreed it would be widened to be presented to engines and wagons, operated and maintained to a high standard. This was a special year for the Trust and also marked the 75th anniversary since the first rally of all. Tony Wastel and the Stoke Row Rally offered to host the event. So after their own rally, they moved down the road. 2 weeks later, and the Appleford celebrations took place. A great team joined them, with Reg Dorr organising an amazing lineup of engines. Ben Brown, Jeff Shackleton, and with many other volunteers, organised a brilliant celebration of rallying history. With some generous donations from steam-related businesses, we as the NTT are very grateful for them organising such a memorable celebration. It is therefore entirely appropriate that this year's winner of the Arthur Napper Cup is the Appleford Rally organisers. Would Reg Dorr, on behalf of all those that work so hard, please come and collect it? And next we have the Curtis Bowl, a small vase originating from the Curtis family, often given for taking an engine on long and outstanding journeys under steam. This year's winner is Ken Mill. Ken, along with his family, have undertaken many significant road runs, firstly with his mother and father's Aveling Porter steamroller, Lady Hesketh, and more recently with his Foster tractor, which Ken has restored from the ground up. So the Curtis Bowl to Ken Mill.
Oh, right. Yeah. Well, I've not been known to be short of a word on occasions. Right. On we go, Keith.
Next up is the Darcy Lacey Cup, given by Alistair Darcy Lacey, an early chairman of the club. We might need to turn that one off now. A member of the first committee, member number 1 on the roll, to be awarded to someone from an outstanding engine preservation. This year's award goes to Alistair Evans, but I think Alistair is not here.
Oh, he is.
He is here. I was told he wasn't coming, so I can talk on that.
We've got a very good replica of him.
The Evans family have been synonymous with Bishop's Castle in the county of Surrey rallies. They were held there in the 1970s and 80s. Alistair's father and uncle completed the purchase of Ransford Sawmill, which now stands on the first rally site in Bishop's Castle. Always keen supporters of the rally and vintage restoration, their sheds filled with old tractors, and firstly a Marshall Portable and Avon rollers. Since then, with Alistair's, Claire, Alex and Sam's enthusiasm, their collections of engines has expanded to one of the best in the country. A well-deserved award, the Darcy Lacey Cup to Alistair Evans. The Edney Shield, purchased by the club in memory of the late E.W. Edney, who was treasurer of the club and often regarded as the saviour of the club, usually awarded to the people who have given considerable personal service to the club. The original shield did not return one year, and the late David Smith, who normally did this job, who had always managed the trophy citations sector, was very upset at the loss and personally commissioned the identical replacement you see now, made at his own expense. This award goes to a family who over the years have completed the restoration of more than one engine, have continued to support others to achieve the same goal. More recent times have seen great increased participation in the trust business, which is much appreciated. This award goes to Tony and Sarah Seddon.
I got a bit of bad news for you, Tony. The plaques on the shield are full, so somebody's going to have to make a new one, which you're a fairly... Well, we'll risk it.
Well, this lot kept this very quiet. I knew nothing about this.
Over the years, Tony's shed actually has been host to quite a few engines, not least his own. There's a big Fowler outside that lived in there for a while, and various others, and there's a ploughing engine in there at the moment. Although not sure what brought the ploughing engine there, whether it was the workshop or one of your daughters. But anyway, there we are. So well done. Okay, on we go, Keith.
The next award is the Percy Hirons Bowl, given by John Hirons to be presented to an agricultural engine, preferably one which was either in serious use or used in a proper demonstration. The imposing Wallace traction engine Panther is always seen as an engine that stands out in the crowd and at a rally. Always immaculate and roaded everywhere, is a credit to Joe, Sherry and the rest of the Shadbolt family. This award goes to the Shadbolt family.
It's a fine big engine that's been around the rallies for a long, long time, and I'm sure Herman would be very proud.
The bottom's loose.
The next award is the JTBB Cup, the SAC Apprentice of the Year. This cup came from the Beebe family. The last one of the family to carry that well-known name was Michael, who was a very keen supporter of the Trust and the Steam Plough Club, but also was very keen to involve young people who, as he used to say, they are the future. This award is made to a steam apprentice who has demonstrated a high level of knowledge and practical achievement in the working, operation and maintenance of road steam. For his continuing commitment to road steam and support for C2 Ward Aidensbrook Children's Ward, Harley himself spent many months here after suffering a brain tumour after his 9th birthday. This year, Harley raised more than £1,000 for the ward. This deserving award this year goes to Harley Plum. Should be aware, I think the Steam Apprentice Awards have all gone out publicly through all this great social media reach. Oh, we've got a video. Let's go. Oh, still in me thunder, Nick. Yeah.
So I thought it was a bit unfair to ask you to travel all the way to Shrewsbury. But congratulations, you are our Apprentice of the Year. So well done for all of your fundraising work. Really impressed. Really, really good to see, and also really nice to see when you're driving the engines just how capable and competent you are. I know you've been on my engine, and yeah, you always do a really good job. So well done. Here is the award. I don't know if I can make it. There we go. There's your trophy. I'm sending it to you virtually. I will get it over to you. We'll try and get it over in the next month or so, so you can then go and get your name engraved on it and stuff. And then it will be forever on there as Harley Plum Apprentice of the Year 2025. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Anything you want to say to your fans?
Not really.
All right then. Well, we'll try and we'll try and sort it all out and get it over to you. And yeah, I hear your granddad might have a new engine coming soon, so maybe we'll bring it over and you can get some pictures in front of that.
Sounds good.
All right.
Cool. So next we have the Baker Toc H Cup. This impressive trophy is on permanent loan from the Baker Transport family, Southampton. The largest trophy reserved for a big engine. Oh. and you got to pay.
We've
to
always
fix
had
it,
trouble
but,
with loose bases. I didn't drop the main bit, that's the important thing.
not necessarily a showman's engine or a road loco, more a reflection of the owner's stature. And apparently the story is the recipient of this cup should fill it with whiskey and pass it round the room. The president looked forwards, but perhaps the president shouldn't start passing it around. The engine in question has been a familiar sight around rallies for many years and is always a fine sight. Many will be delighted to see it continue to appear at events. This award goes to Bridget Brown, along with her supporter Tom Sanders, for the presentation of the Fowler crane engine rallied for so many years by her late father, Len. So this award goes to Bridget and Tom. If Tom could come and collect now.
We'll be doing this again tomorrow, hopefully without dropping anything, because Bridget is coming along to the Sentinel work. So anyway, you can have a taste of it, Tom. If you want to fill it up, by all means, carry on. Yeah.
Next, the Jack Holloway Portable Fruit Bowl. Awarded, as the title suggests, by Jack Holloway for the need to recognise this side of rally work and engine owning. Recent years have seen a growing interest in portables, and a growing number are to be found enjoying their rightful place on the rally field. This year, we are pleased to award this trophy to John and Andrew Bradbury for their work in restoring Ruston and Hornsby 2 horsepower and Clayton 4 horsepower. A bigger challenge is currently underway with the restoration of Marshall 12 horsepower duplex of 1907. To John and Andrew Bradbury.
Andrew, of course, has been known to us for many years. In fact, he's been under our feet for quite a long time. But there's a loose base again here, Andrew. If you'd like to take a 6-inch nail, knock it straight through and clench it over, I think that would be a suitable engineering achievement. And above all, good luck to Father and Uncle John, of course, who's your co-conspirator on the portables. You're welcome.
The Connie Hutchins Memorial Trophy, purchased with money raised within the committee and in a circle of friends at the time as a memorial to Connie Hutchins, who had been membership secretary in the early 60s. This trophy is awarded annually to a lady within the movement. This year we present this award to Maggie Asprey. Maggie, for those of you who don't know, is the owner, along with her husband Mark and children Tristan and Theo, of their 2 engines, the Clayton Roller Ironside and Fowler K7, the Steam Sapper. For her sins, Maggie is the secretary of the County of Solop Steam Engine Society and goes above and beyond the call of duty in that role. The award goes to Maggie Asprey.
There you go, Mel. If you can keep right, you're doing well.
Next, the Bill McAlpine Trophy. Until his untimely death, Sir William McAlpine was a patron of the NTET, but in fact was much more than that. He was a well-respected man of steam. His ventures and achievements are legendary. However, he put great store in keeping both feet firmly on the ground, which made him great favourite with all of us who knew him. Sir William gave the trophy to the NTET for it to be awarded to someone who, through example and endeavours, made a significant contribution to the road-going steam preservation movement. This year, some will need to really look back hard, for we wish to recognise a couple who have been involved back in the days of Eric Milton at Hartlebury, then we've seen for many years working with Bill Hunt before engine owning themselves, and even today have a close connection with a hobby known today as Roger the Lampman. The Bill McAlpine Trophy goes to Roger and June Mills.
Bill, Roger was able to provide me with some very early slides of our Ruston being restored when it lived at Hartlebury. And then I got to know him better when he appeared at Birmingham Science Museum with Bill Hunt and dashing young wife he had with him as well. So June is at the back there. June's like me, she's getting a bit lame, so she's just going to take the prize from the back. Roger. Thank you. Well done. No, it's nailed on, is that one?
Next, the Doc Romanis trophy, created in the name of former president of the NTT, Giles Doc Romanis. This trophy is to recognise adults, groups or organisations who have supported the SAC over the years. This year, for contributing a water bowser to the Steam Apprentice Club and to the support for Lady Sylvia, this year's winner is the John Rex Models. Next is the John Cook Memorial Trophy. This trophy means a great deal to the Trust Council. It was given by John's family in his memory. He was former membership secretary as well as being a very capable vice chairman and is to be presented to the winner of the NTT annual photographic competition. This year's winner is always the first to get that great photo on social media, winning 3 classes in last year's competition, but overall winner for this year, the winner is Oliver Moore.
Well done, Oliver.
Thank you very much.
I bet Kathy's got the calendars on still at the back as well.
Next, the Choicey and Simpson Cup. Choicey and Simpson were insurance brokers and a forerunner of Tenant Bud. John Simpson was a keen engine enthusiast, and the cup was to be awarded for outstanding engine preservation, but not necessarily confirmed to a specific engine. The winner of this award this year has been responsible for the restoration of many steam engines. Probably there are a lot of people in this room now. Brian set himself up in business, making his hobby his career, and after being made redundant, his business has flourished and is now known as one of the premier engine restorers in the country. This award goes to Brian Allison.
Was this a surprise?
Yes.
Ah, good. Yes, it's screwed on, that one, yeah.
Next, the John Crawley Trophy, a fine rolls bowl believed to have been won by John's father in connection with motorcycling and given to the club by John for outstanding service to the club or wider hobby movement, but not connected directly with engines. This year, we present this award to the County of Solop Steam Engine Society. Founded in 1961 when the first event in Church Stretton, the event moved on via Bishop's Castle, Walcott Hall to Onslow Park in Shrewsbury. Always a keen supporter of the NTT and what it stands for, the Society has always been pleased to partner with the Trust to promote our great hobby. Could all of the committee members present please come up to receive the awards? Come on, I must do a few of you.
Come on, Paul, you stand at the front. You want the good-looking ones at the front. Put Derek at the back.
Go that side.
Oh my
Yeah,
God, this is
yeah.
an effect.
There we go.
Organising.
Breathe in.
Well done, mate. Welcome, Paul. Here, who's taking it? Somebody, Derek? I think it's loose. Be careful.
Next, the Jack Holloway Trophy, to present it to someone who has given considerable service to the Trust. This year marks the retirement of a couple who have for many years managed a significant area of Trust activity. It had always come together on the day, and we are most grateful. The Jack Holloway Trophy goes to a couple who have been a critical part within the movement and have run our driving courses seamlessly for many years. This year's winners are Joe and Vicky Black.
Hello, love. How are you doing? Hello, Joe. Yeah. Yeah, it's always interesting. You ring Joe about a fortnight before the course and hasn't got enough engines, hasn't got the coal, not quite sure what's going to happen. It always came together, so well done to the pair of you.
Next is the Eric Middleton Trophy, given by by enthusiast on his death, who had assisted him at his Hartlebury home on his large collection of engines, to be presented to the best restored exhibit undertaken with modest funding and minimal amounts of requirement. The receipt of this award is a man of many talents and skills, which he quietly demonstrates. His work is always exceptional, and many have benefited from his happily shared work and skills. This year's award goes to Andrew Wheeler.
Should have given you one with a loose base, really, because you could have dealt with that, couldn't you? A very, very talented young man who achieves extraordinary things in his workshop and just quietly gets on with it.
Next award is the Young Volunteer of the Year. This is a fairly new trophy to the Trust, created to recognise a member of the club who has given time volunteering with other organisations within our hobby. For volunteering at the Bredgemore and Walmshill Railway, where he helped prepare the railway fleet, also supporting with the Garrett Agricultural. He also supports on Tony Baker's role at Amiga. Elliot was also a member of the NTT driving course this year. This year's award goes to Elliot Jones.
Elliot, congratulations. Volunteer of the Year for your work at Breaker. Really impressed, and keep it up.
Next is the David Bradbury Commentators Award. This award was created by David himself, a very popular and knowledgeable commentator for over 50 years. David wished the award to be given to a commentator of repute within the area where the AGM is being held. As many of you will know, David was the commentator at the Cosettes Rally for 50 years, a feat he was proud of. When he decided to hand over the baton, he was delighted to see this year's winner easily step into his shoes, which he has done brilliantly, even though nervous at first. This year's award goes to Anthony Koulis. I don't believe Anthony's here.
His sister will be with us tomorrow at the Sentinel Works, so we'll better hand it on then.
And final award, the Golden Film Shield, awarded for work in the full field of the traction engine movement, often awarded to bodies as opposed to individuals, presented by Morris Lubricants of Shrewsbury, producers of golden film lubrication oils. This prestigious award is coming home this year. Tomorrow, during our visit to the new distribution centre of Morris Lubricants, we will be able to see the work that has been completed at the Sentinel Works. The Sentinel himself has been restored along with the whole facade of the works, and the name has been reinstalled in the front gates, henceforth to be known as the Sentinel Trade Park. The Trust would like to acknowledge the Goddard's family's determination to keep this part of our hobby's heritage alive for the future. The award goes to the Goddard family for the restoration of the Sentinel Wagon Works. If I can ask everyone that's received an award today, if you would kindly see the secretary and collect your box to put it in, and he'll make you sign a piece of paper. Thank you very much, everyone.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our business for today. Thank you all for coming, and I think it's been a very successful afternoon. I look forward to seeing you, those of you who are going to join us for dinner later on this evening. Thank you all.